Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most broken, boring, and befuddling games to have released in 2024 so far.
We're ready for phase.
Number 10, Alone in the Dark.
Well, in that case, we'll just wait in his room. You don't mind, do you? It's upstairs, right?
Wait, you can't.
Don't worry, we'll be discreet.
There was a ton of hope riding on Alone in the Dark. The franchise hasn't seen a quality entry since the 90s when it was still on PC. For this reboot, it seemed as if things were looking up between the visuals, environments, and story. Alas, it just wasn't in the cards for THQ Nordic and developer Pieces Interactive.
No one was answering the door.
We can't hear you knocking anymore. None of us can.
Between the janky combat and myriad of bugs and glitches, Alone in the Dark played like the survival games of old in the worst ways possible. Honestly, we're starting to wonder if the IP is just cursed at this point.
Sorry, Detective. Didn't mean to obstruct justice or anything.
Number 9, Phantom Fury. Ion Fury was one of the coolest FPS games released back in 2019 with its unique premise, frenetic action, and absurdly violent weapons. The same cannot be said with Phantom Fury. What happened here? Was it poor technical performance? Awful UI? Soft locks in the worst spots? All of the above, plus the general lack of imagination here.
It won't last forever.
Not only does Phantom Fury pull the same tricks we saw in the previous game, it does so with half-hearted attempts. It doesn't help that some staff members at publisher 3D Realms attempted to dismiss any negative feedback with empty accusations, especially when it came to criticism being made by prominent members of the boomer shooter community. Number 8, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Considering this came from the same team behind 2017's Friday the 13th, the game, Killer Clowns should have been a step forward, right? Well, maybe in technical performance? The big problem with Killer Clowns is that the pacing and game balance is so out of whack that it makes every match a slog to play. By the time a clown player meets a human player, the fight ends within mere seconds with no strategy outside of running away or spamming the same attack until you accept your fate. Sure, you may have fun playing this with your friends, but at $40 for a copy, you're better off jumping into other asymmetrical multiplayer horror games. Number 7, Contra, Operation Galuga.
Infiltrate the base and apprehend their lieutenant. His field intel will help determine our next move.
Speaking of $40 games that failed to live up to expectations, Contra, Operation Galuga was supposed to revive one of Konami's many dormant IPs. Unfortunately, this proved to be one of Konami and developer WayForward's laziest outings yet. It runs fine for the most part. There are some collision detection issues occasionally. However, the action is far too slow, making it more painful to play than the original Contra. Plus, no online multiplayer? What the hell? If this is the level of corner cutting and lack of investment Contra gets, who's to say the rest of Konami's upcoming games will be any better? Number 6, Star Wars Hunters. When a game is given little to no marketing right up until launch, that is rarely ever a good sign. Case in point, Star Wars Hunters. We only got a teaser trailer way back in 2021 with a little bit of gameplay shown a few months later. So, what happened in the 3 years since? Not much. The free-to-play game was released for Switch and mobile and is one of the most boring hero shooters you can play. None of these characters have any personality, dialogue is uninspiring, gunplay is unsatisfying with its lack of oomph behind every shot, and the selection of maps is unreasonably lean. And that goes without mentioning the obscene grind to unlock characters and the egregious monetization. Number 5, Jujutsu Kaisen, Cursed Clash.
Don't rush me now!
Any idea what this is? Keep up.
Another fighting game for another mega popular anime. Can we get something different for once? And can it be a quality title, please? Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash should have been an easy win for Bandai Namco Entertainment. This is a fighting game based on an anime where people are using ghostly powers to fight each other. How does that not spark an ounce of imagination here? No pun intended, but there's absolutely no soul in Cursed Clash. Not in its graphics, not in its story, not in its mechanics, and certainly not in the online functionality.
Smack it down. Crush. Smack it down.
Critics quickly pointed out how this game was merely a desperate cash grab attempt to capitalize on a hot new IP, and honestly, it's not hard to see that.
The win is here. Take yourself a notch.
Number 4, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones started development in 2013. 2013! Over a decade ago, with 6 of those years being spent constantly delaying the game while trying so hard to keep the hype going with buzz terms like quadruple A game. And what did we get? A game centered on repetitive combat, arbitrary survival and crafting mechanics, awful map design, and horrible monetization.
See? Companion warships carry rare perks that I would pay well for.
Credit where it's due, Ubisoft did launch the game in a more technically sound state than most of its games in recent years. But when you have a competitor like Sea of Thieves, or a predecessor like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag with more meat on its bones in terms of mechanics, presentation, and exploration, a game like Skull and Bones is simply unacceptable. Number 3, Multiverses. The live service train wreck keeps on wrecking, and Multiverses quickly became a recent victim. Pulling the beta for a year was a questionable decision, but when we heard it was to move the game to a different engine, cool, understandable choice. And the improved visuals made us more excited about other improvements possibly being made, if there had been any in the first place. Not only did Multiverses relaunch with more bugs and glitches than ever before, it relaunched with an even worse netcode, steeper prices and microtransactions, and an even more grindy progression system that offered less XP than before. In other words, Multiverses took a year off for a little more spit and polish, but forgot to polish. Now, it's just spit. Number 2, South Park Snow Day. With Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole establishing what a South Park game should be like, one would hope Snow Day would follow suit. Ladies and gentlemen, Cartman's cereal bombs are more appealing than this.
I'm calling bullshit. Summon vampire.
South Park Snow Day is just like those awful PS1 and 64 games we got back in the 90s. Mundane gameplay, shallow combat, and worst of all, it just isn't a funny game. Hardcore fans may get a chuckle from 1 or 2 bits, but even at $30, 6 missions, a half-assed skill tree, and random bullshit cards do not make this game fun. And yes, this did come from an internal development team at South Park Digital Studios. Had our final entry not released this year, or ever, this would have easily taken top spot for this list.
But then the new kid came and got in the way.
Wow, nice going, new kid.
But what beat it out? You can probably already guess. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Once upon a time, Rocksteady Studios was a developer built on innovation, helping pave the way for licensed video games and superhero games with the Batman Arkham series. After being away for almost 9 years since Batman Arkham Knight, what does Rocksteady come back with? A live-service third-person shooter with some of the most abysmal mission structure, the poorest attempt at making endgame content, a lackluster story with an abrupt ending, and post-launch support that has only under-delivered to what few players remain. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has become such a massive flop that it has contributed to Warner Brothers suffering from a loss of $200 million. As for Rocksteady, Sefton Hill left mid-development, the skeleton crew is working to finish whatever post-launch support is left, and the rest of the staff are now working on a special edition of Hogwarts Legacy. What an upsetting fall from grace.
I gotta admit, she might have shoved a bomb in my brainstem, but I like a broad with sass. And Walla, she got sass for miles.
What's the worst video game you've played this year? Did it make our list? Let us know down in the comments.
Good luck trying to ruin this game. I'm sure you'll manage.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.